Hey everyone, so this has been a video a long time in the making. So this one's gonna be all about my 2015 Mustang. I'm gonna talk about all the things that I've done to it since I purchased it, kind of give a rundown of the modifications. So let's jump right in. I think the natural place to start is the cosmetics of the car. So working our way from the front to the back, you'll notice that I have a aftermarket front bumper. It's from a company called Air Design. And I really like this bumper. It's a lot more aggressive than stock, but it still kind of keeps that stock lines. Complementing that, I have the Cervini's upper and lower grills. I like these because it looks like you have a grill delete, but Cervini's includes a very fine mesh grill that you install. And the reason I like this is it actually protects my heat exchanger quite a bit. Living out in the desert, we get a lot of rocks and things that get slung up from trucks, and that mesh does a good job of protecting that. But you still kind of keep that look of a grill delete, which I like. Going from there, you'll notice the headlights. I have completely blacked out all of the chrome, and while I was in there, I installed the diode color changing DRLs. Also up front, rounding out the lights, I also have a set of their switchback. Probably the biggest thing that I get complimented on as far as looks from the car is the hood. So again, another Cervini's piece. This is their stalker hood. I really like how it has that big opening to let cold air come in across the engine. Being in Arizona with the desert and us seeing 120, 125 degree temperatures in the summer, any extra airflow I can get under the hood definitely is a bonus. Going back from there, you'll notice that I've installed GT350 style fenders. These are those eBay special steel fenders from Icon. Fit is decent, but for the price, it's probably the best thing out there. Honestly, I really wanted the Anderson composite carbon fiber fenders, but at the time I was ready to purchase them, I couldn't find them anywhere. They were completely out of stock. So I ended up with these. They're actually pretty good for what they are. So going back from there, just a little touch, but I installed the Roush lower winglets on the side skirts. I think it's a nice little touch, helps break up that line. And then in the back, I have a Ford Performance GT350 lower valance, and I also have their quad tip exhaust. In the back, I also have a Ford Performance deck lid. This part's actually been discontinued for some time from Ford Performance, so I'm pretty happy that I bought it at that time. They were having some problems with manufacturing and like dimples showing through, but I was fortunate to get one that didn't have that defect, and honestly, I love the way it looks. I love the badge delete back there. I think it's just really clean, just having that all black rear deck lid. And then the last piece of cosmetics is my Air Design rear spoiler. So it's kind of a GT350 shape. It's a little bit different, but it's definitely takes its inspiration cues from that. Last thing cosmetics wise is, if you've been following my Instagram or my build for a while, you'll know that the car was at one time ingot silver, and my buddy at Next Level hooked me up with a gray wrap. So the actual color is Avery dark gloss gray. I really like this color. It's similar to like a Nardo color on a BMW, or it's actually really close to the lead foot color from Ford on the GT350s. So definitely a cool color. And then rounding out on the roof, I've actually wrapped the roof satin black. So from a cosmetic standpoint, that's kind of what I'm working with. And then I think next, let's jump into the wheels. Kind of ties in with cosmetics. So I have a set of BC Forged two-piece wheels, front and rear. Front is 19 by 10, rear is 19 by 11, and I am running Michelin Pilot Super Sport tires. Found that these are probably the best tires all around from a daily use, traction, tread wear. And they also are one of the few that come in the size that I wanted to run in the back, which is a 305, 35, 19. So there's not a lot of manufacturers that make tires in that size, but I really wanted that to be able to fill out that rear wheel well. And with the wheel size and the width that I wanted, the 305/35 just works perfectly. Behind the wheels, I've also done some brake upgrades. So I have DBA rotors, front and rear. The front are 2-piece, the rear are single. I'm running Hawk pads, and I also have braided stainless lines. Let's jump into suspension. So probably one of the best things that I installed on my car is the Airlift Performance air suspension. The suspension is so versatile and it performs just awesome. I love the way it handles, love the way it looks. You can slam it down, you can raise it up. If you have a huge speed bump or curb to get over, you can raise it all the way up and clear it. It saved my front fascia on multiple occasions. Plus, you're able to kind of fine tune it for the driving style that you want. So if you want it more aggressive, you can definitely do that. Complementing the suspension, in the rear, I have adjustable lower control arms. I have the billet vertical links. I have adjustable billet camber arms. I have adjustable front and rear sway bars with billet mounts. And in addition to that, I have all of the polyurethane and billet inserts in the rear to help get rid of that slop and wheel hop that these cars unfortunately come from the factory with. Up front, I also have the lower K-member brace that helps tighten things up there. And I think that's pretty much it from a suspension standpoint. I think we can jump into the drivetrain now. So working backwards to front, I have upgraded GT350 half shafts. I have a G-Force aluminum transmission. I have a Tri-X short shift race shifter. Probably the second best upgrade that I've done to the car. The stock shifter is terrible. So if you have one of these cars and you haven't yet, definitely look at the Tri-X or the MGW shifters. Huge improvement over stock, and you'll love driving your car so much more with that. From a clutch standpoint, I went with a lightened steel flywheel and the McLeod RST clutch, and I also upgraded to a stainless line. Those kind of modifications were necessary for probably the biggest thing that I've installed on the car, which is the Whipple Gen 2 supercharger kit. So it's the stage 2 kit. It has the upgraded heat exchanger, and I'm running the 3.75 pulley. Haven't dynoed it yet, but I'm probably pushing anywhere from 600 to 650 wheel horsepower. That's probably a pretty safe number based on other cars that I've seen. So under the hood, I've also done a few other things. I have a couple radium pieces. So I have a driver and passenger side catch can. And then I also have their radiator overflow tank, which gets rid of that big ugly bubble. Their overflow tank is super nice. It's 2-piece billet aluminum, and it does a huge job of cleaning up that engine bay. Jumping into the interior, you'll see that it's basically stock. I do have a Beef Performance carbon fiber steering wheel. I really like the feel of it. It's quite a bit thicker than the stock steering wheel. And then I also have a Racing, one of their hybrid knobs. So being in Arizona, the car gets super hot in the summer, so I needed something that wasn't gonna get hot, and they have I think this is their Orbiter version. So it has a Delrin cover that slides over a billet insert. So you get that nice weight, but the Delrin doesn't get hot in the summer. So it's kind of best of both worlds. You get that heavy billet feel, but you also get the Delrin that doesn't leave third-degree burns on your hands. I think that's about it. That's what I have done to the car so far. I think that honestly the car's pretty much done. I have some small things that I want to do, some cosmetic stuff. I definitely want to clean up my rear trunk setup with the Airlift kit. It's completely functional, but it doesn't look great. It's hidden under the mat, which you know, I use my car every day. It's a daily driver, so that's cool, but kind of want to make something a little bit nicer. And then I actually purchased, but I haven't put it in just because I've been super lazy and I don't really want to tackle this, but at some point I'm going to have to, is I purchased a wire tuck kit so I can take that fuse panel block and the ECU and get that into the fender and get that out of the engine bay, so it'll just clean that up quite a bit more. So I think that's about it. That's my 2015 Mustang GT in a nutshell. So this has been probably one of the most requested videos that I've had in the comments. So I wanted to get this out there. Honestly, it's probably a long time overdue. I take a lot of pictures of this car, but I don't think I've ever sat down and described from beginning to end what all was involved in this car and what all has been done to it. I do have a fairly lengthy build thread in the Mustang 6G forums, and I'll leave that in the link below if you're interested, if you wanted to see more photos of the car, things like that. So hopefully you liked this video. Hopefully you found it useful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you did like this video, I'd love if you give it a thumbs up. And also, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. So until next time, take care.